thought for a couple of seconds. Be honest with yourself for 1 second. Not motivationally honest, not I'm trying my best honest. I mean brutally honest. The kind of honest that makes you sit in silence for a moment because deep down, you know the truth. You don't need a new life. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need another video, another book, another podcast, another fresh start, another Monday, another year. What you need is to stop protecting the habits that are slowly destroying your potential, because most people are not failing because they are unlucky. They are failing because every day, quietly, privately, repeatedly, they practice behaviors that keep them weak, distracted, broke, tired, insecure, and average. And the dangerous part is this: they don't call them toxic habits. They call them normal. They call scrolling for 3 hours relaxing. They call avoiding hard conversations keeping peace. They call wasting money enjoying life. They call sleeping late every day being tired. They call jealousy motivation. They call excuses reasons. And then they wonder why their life never changes. Listen carefully. Your life is not built by what you want. Your life is built by what you repeat. And if what you repeat is weak, messy, emotional, undisciplined, and toxic, your future will reflect that. That may sound harsh, but it is true. You can't keep poisoning your days and expect your life to become healthy. You can't keep choosing comfort and expect transformation. You can't keep betraying your goals in private and expect confidence in public. At some point, you have to stop blaming your circumstances and start questioning your patterns. Because maybe the problem is not that life is against you. Maybe the problem is that your habits are against you. The first toxic habit you must eliminate is living on autopilot. This is one of the most dangerous habits because it doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't look like destruction. It looks like an ordinary day. You wake up, you check your phone, you react to messages, you scroll, you eat whatever is there, you go wherever life pushes you. You do what feels urgent, not what is important. You repeat yesterday. Then tomorrow comes and you repeat it again. No intention, no direction, no self-command, just existing. And here is the brutal truth. If you do not decide where your life is going, your habits will decide for you. Your distractions will decide for you. Your emotions will decide for you. Other people's opinions will decide for you. The algorithm will decide for you. Your environment will decide for you. And then one day, you will look around and realize you are living a life you never consciously chose. That is what autopilot does. It steals your years in small, comfortable pieces. It does not attack you loudly. It whispers, just today. Just skip the workout today. Just waste the morning today. Just ignore the problem today. Just spend the money today. Just delay the decision today. Just avoid the difficult thing today. But just today, repeated for 6 months, becomes your identity. And identity becomes destiny. You need to understand this. Most people don't ruin their lives with one big mistake. They ruin their lives by tolerating small bad decisions long enough for those decisions to become normal. So ask yourself, seriously, how many of your days are actually designed by you? How much of your time is intentional? How many hours do you control? How many choices are made from discipline, not impulse? Because if you wake up and immediately give your attention to your phone, you have already surrendered the first battle of the day. You have told your mind, I am not the leader here. I am available to be pulled. And once your attention is gone, your power is gone. A focused person is dangerous. A distracted person is easy to control. If you want to level up, you cannot live like a passenger in your own life. You need a plan for your mornings. You need a plan for your money. You need a plan for your health. You need a plan for your skills. You need a plan for who you are becoming. Not a complicated plan, a real one. Something simple enough to repeat when you don't feel motivated. Because motivation is not a strategy. Motivation is a mood, and moods change. You need structure. You need standards. You need rules you obey even when no one is watching. Stop waking up and asking, what do I feel like doing? Start asking, what kind of person am I becoming if I keep doing this? That question will expose you, and that is good, because exposure is the beginning of change. The second toxic habit you must eliminate is making excuses that sound intelligent. This one is sneaky because most excuses don't sound stupid to the person using them. They sound reasonable. They sound mature. They sound logical. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I didn't grow up with support. I'm too tired. I'm waiting for the right moment. I need to learn more first. I'm just not ready. Now, some of these things may be true. Maybe you really are tired. Maybe you really don't have much money. Maybe you really didn't have support. Maybe your situation is harder than someone else's. But here is where you need to be careful. A reason explains your situation. An excuse protects your inaction. And too many people confuse the two. They take a real obstacle and use it as permission to stay the same. That is dangerous, because once you become emotionally attached to your excuses, you will fight anyone who tries to free you from them. You will defend the very thing keeping you stuck. Someone tells you to start small, you say, "You don't understand." Someone tells you to be consistent, you say, "It's not that simple." Someone gives you an example of someone who overcame worse, you say, "Yeah, but they had something I don't have." You keep building a case for your limitations, and after a while, your mind starts believing it. Listen, your excuses may be valid, but they are not useful. Read that again in your mind. Valid does not mean useful. Yes, your past may explain your fears, but it cannot be allowed to control your future. Yes, your circumstances may be difficult, but difficulty does not remove responsibility. Yes, you may have been treated unfairly, but if you wait for life to become fair before you move, you will wait forever. The world does not pause because you have pain. The clock does not stop because you are confused. Opportunities do not sit around waiting for you to feel ready. You either move with fear, or fear moves you nowhere. Be careful with the phrase, "I can't." Sometimes "I can't" really means I don't want to be uncomfortable. Sometimes "I can't" means I don't want to start at the bottom. Sometimes "I can't" means I don't want to look foolish. Sometimes "I can't" means I don't want to be judged. Sometimes "I can't" means I want the result, but not the sacrifice. And that is not inability. That is avoidance. There is a difference. If you want to level up, you must become allergic to your own excuses, not other people's excuses, yours. Because it is easy to call other people lazy. It is easy to see where other people are lying to themselves, but the real growth starts when you catch yourself doing it. When you hear yourself say, "I don't have time," and you check your screen time. When you hear yourself say, "I don't have money," and you check your spending. When you hear yourself say, "I'm waiting for the right moment," and you realize you have been waiting for 3 years. That is the moment you stop being a victim of your own story. You don't need to be perfect, but you need to stop negotiating with weakness. Because every excuse you repeat becomes a chain, and every time you act despite the excuse, you break one. The third toxic habit you must eliminate is seeking comfort before growth. This is the habit that kills ambition slowly, not because comfort is evil. Comfort is necessary sometimes. Rest is necessary. Peace is necessary. Recovery is necessary. But comfort becomes toxic when it becomes your master. When every decision is based on what feels easiest right now, your future starts shrinking. You avoid the gym because it is uncomfortable. You avoid studying because it is boring. You avoid saving money because spending feels better. You avoid difficult conversations because silence feels easier. You avoid starting the project because failure would be embarrassing. You avoid discipline because freedom sounds more attractive. But what you call freedom is often just slavery to impulse. Because if you cannot tell yourself no, you are not free. You are controlled by whatever desire speaks the loudest. That is not freedom. That is weakness wearing a nice outfit. Look at your life honestly. Most of the things that would improve you are not complicated. They are just uncomfortable. Waking up earlier is not complicated. Working out is not complicated. Eating better is not complicated. Learning a valuable skill is not complicated. Saving money is not complicated. Apologizing is not complicated. Being consistent is not complicated. The problem is not complexity. The problem is discomfort. You keep waiting for growth to feel good. But growth usually feels like resistance first. It feels annoying. It feels slow. It feels unfair. It feels boring. It feels like no one is noticing. It feels like you are doing the right thing and still not seeing results. And that is exactly where most people quit. They don't quit because they are incapable. They quit because they expected transformation to feel exciting every day. It won't. Some days, leveling up feels like doing the same boring thing again while your emotions complain. That is discipline. And discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect in action. Every time you do what you said you would do, your confidence grows. Every time you break your own promise, your confidence shrinks. That is why you can't fake confidence for long. Confidence is not just positive thinking. Confidence is evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Evidence that you can show up. Evidence that you can finish. Evidence that you can choose the hard right over the easy wrong. If you keep choosing comfort, you collect evidence that you are unreliable. And then you wonder why you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe in yourself because you keep watching yourself quit. That is a painful truth. But it can also set you free, because it means confidence can be rebuilt. One kept promise at a time. One hard choice at a time. One uncomfortable action at a time. Start small if you have to, but stop worshiping comfort. Comfort is not the goal. Growth is the goal. Peace is not found by avoiding effort. Real peace comes from knowing you are becoming someone you respect. The fourth toxic habit you must eliminate is surrounding yourself with people who normalize your lowest version. This is where many people get defensive, because nobody wants to admit their circle is part of the problem. Nobody wants to admit they are loyal to people who are helping them stay stuck. But listen carefully. Your environment does not need your permission to influence you. It is influencing you right now. The conversations you hear, the jokes you laugh at, the standards around you, the habits around you, the complaints around you, the ambitions around you. They are shaping what you believe is normal, and normal is powerful. If everyone around you wastes money, wasting money feels normal. If everyone around you mocks discipline, laziness feels normal. If everyone around you gossips, gossip feels normal. If everyone around you is always negative, negativity feels like intelligence. If everyone around you has no plan, drifting feels acceptable. You may think you are different. Maybe you are, but you are not immune. You can love people and still recognize they are not good for your growth. You can respect your friends and still admit their habits are dangerous. You can care about your family and still refuse to inherit their mindset. Loyalty should not require self-destruction. Some people don't want you to level up because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Not always because they hate you. Sometimes because your discipline exposes their lack of discipline. Your ambition exposes their excuses. Your change exposes their stagnation, so they will joke about your goals. They will call you fake. They will say you think you are better. They will remind you who you used to be. They will tempt you back into old habits. And if you are not strong, you will shrink yourself just to stay accepted. That is one of the saddest trades in life. Losing yourself to keep people who are not even trying to grow. You need to ask a hard question. Do the people around you make your future bigger or smaller? After spending time with them, do you feel inspired or drained? Do they challenge you or just entertain you? Do they celebrate your discipline or mock it? Do they talk about ideas or only about people? Do they push you toward your standards or pull you toward your weaknesses? And here is the part nobody likes. You don't always need to cut people off dramatically. Sometimes you just need to change access. Less time, less emotional dependence, less explanation, less permission, more distance, more silence, more focus, more self-respect. You are not required to announce your growth to people committed to misunderstanding it. Just move differently. Let your actions speak, because when you are serious about leveling up, your circle must change. Either the people change with you, or your closeness to them changes. That is not arrogance. That is survival. You cannot build a disciplined life in an environment that celebrates disorder. You cannot build a strong mind while feeding on weak conversations. You cannot become exceptional while constantly trying to fit into average standards. Choose carefully. Your circle is either a ladder or a cage. The fifth toxic habit you must eliminate is consuming more than you create. This habit is destroying an entire generation. People are watching success more than they are building it. They watch fitness videos but don't train. They watch business content but don't sell anything. They watch productivity videos but don't organize their day. They watch motivational speeches but don't take action. They watch people live the life they want and somehow mistake that for progress. But watching someone else climb does not move your feet. Learning is good, research is good, inspiration is good, but at some point, consumption becomes procrastination with better branding. You tell yourself you are preparing, but really, you are avoiding the risk of doing. Because when you consume, you can feel smart without being tested. You can feel motivated without being disciplined. You can feel close to success without confronting your own lack of action. That is why endless consumption is so addictive. It gives you the emotion of progress without the evidence of progress. But your life does not change because you understand. Your life changes because you execute. You don't need to know everything before you start. You need to start so you can learn what matters. Most people are over-informed and under-applied. They know 10 strategies but use none. They have saved hundreds of videos but finished 0 projects. They have notebooks full of ideas but no results in the real world. That is not a knowledge problem. That is an execution problem. If you want to level up, create more than you consume. Build something, write something, train something, sell something, practice something, publish something, fix something. Measure something, improve something, move from spectator to participant, because the world does not reward people for watching. It rewards people for producing value. And producing value is uncomfortable because it exposes you. When you create, people can judge it. When you sell, people can reject you. When you publish, people can ignore you. When you practice, you can see how bad you are. That is why most people hide in consumption. It is safer, but safety is expensive. It costs you your potential. A person who creates badly for 1 year will usually outperform a person who studies perfectly for 1 year but never creates. Why? Because action gives feedback. Feedback gives correction. Correction gives skill. Skill gives results. Results give confidence. You cannot think your way into mastery. You have to do your way into it. So set a rule for yourself. For every hour you consume, create something. For every video you watch, take 1 action. For every idea you save, apply 1 piece. Stop being addicted to information you do not use. Unused knowledge becomes mental clutter, and clutter makes you feel busy while keeping you ineffective. Be honest. How much of your learning is just fear? Fear of starting, fear of being seen, fear of not being good enough, fear of discovering that your dream requires more work than you imagined. Good. Discover it, face it, do it anyway. Because the version of you that levels up is not the one who knows more. It is the one who executes more. The 6th toxic habit you must eliminate is betraying your future for instant emotional relief. This is the core of almost every bad habit. You feel stressed, so you scroll. You feel lonely, so you chase attention. You feel bored, so you waste money. You feel insecure, so you compare yourself. You feel tired, so you skip what matters. You feel uncomfortable, so you run. And every time, you trade your future for a small emotional escape. The escape feels good for a moment. Then, the problem is still there. But now, you also feel guilt. So you escape again, and that cycle becomes your life. This is why people stay stuck even when they know better, because the issue is not information. It is emotional regulation. You don't need another person to tell you that wasting time is bad. You know. You don't need another person to tell you that spending money you don't have is dangerous. You know. You don't need another person to tell you that delaying your goals hurts you. You know. But knowing does not help if your emotions are driving the car. You must learn to feel something without obeying it. That is maturity. Feeling lazy and still working. Feeling afraid and still moving. Feeling tempted and still saying no. Feeling frustrated and still staying calm. Feeling behind and still refusing to quit. Your emotions are real, but they are not always wise. They are signals, not commanders. If you let every feeling make decisions for you, your life will be unstable forever because feelings change constantly. Your standards must be stronger than your moods. That is the difference between people who level up and people who repeat the same year 10 times. One group obeys their feelings. The other group respects their future. You need to become the kind of person who can sit with discomfort without immediately escaping. That is a superpower. To be bored and not reach for your phone. To be angry and not destroy your relationships. To be insecure and not seek cheap validation. To be tired and still do the minimum required. To be tempted and still remember who you are becoming. This is how you build inner strength, not through words, through restraint, through patience, through self-control, through choosing your future even when your present self is begging for comfort. And yes, it will feel unfair at first because your old self wants rewards now. Your old self wants pleasure now. Your old self wants recognition now. Your old self wants results now. But your future is built by delayed gratification. You do the work now, and the reward comes later. You save now, and freedom comes later. You train now, and strength comes later. You study now, and opportunity comes later. You stay consistent now, and confidence comes later. Most people lose because they cannot wait. They plant seeds and dig them up every week to see if they are growing. They quit because the results are invisible. But invisible does not mean absent. Roots grow before fruit appears. And if you keep abandoning the process because you don't see quick results, you will never experience what consistency could have produced. So what now? Do not turn this into another video you watched and forgot. That would be the same toxic pattern again. Instead, pause and examine your life. Not emotionally, honestly. Which of these habits is controlling you the most? Autopilot, excuses, comfort addiction, weak environment, overconsumption, instant emotional relief. Don't say all of them just to sound dramatic. Pick the one that is doing the most damage right now. That is where your battle begins. You don't fix your whole life in one day, but you can stop lying today. You can stop pretending today. You can stop feeding the habit today. You can make one clean decision today. And that matters, because leveling up is not some magical transformation where you wake up as a completely different person. It is smaller than that. It is choosing the difficult truth over the comfortable lie. Again, and again, and again. It is choosing discipline when nobody claps. It is choosing focus when distraction is easier. It is choosing better friends when old circles feel familiar. It is choosing action when planning feels safer. It is choosing your future when your emotions want relief. And eventually, those choices compound. People will say, "You changed." They will be right. But the change did not happen suddenly. It happened every time you refused to return to the habits that were keeping you small. Understand this. You cannot become your highest self while staying loyal to your lowest habits. You cannot level up and keep everything. Some habits must die. Some patterns must end. Some relationships must lose access. Some comforts must be sacrificed. Some excuses must be buried. Some versions of you must not be allowed to continue. That is not negative. That is necessary. The life you say you want has a price, and the price is the death of the habits that cannot enter that life with you. So stop asking for transformation while negotiating with the same behaviors that keep you trapped. Stop asking for confidence while breaking promises to yourself. Stop asking for success while avoiding discomfort. Stop asking for peace while living without discipline. Stop asking for change while protecting the old you. Be brutally honest. Your future is watching what you do today, not what you say, not what you plan, not what you post, not what you imagine, what you do. So do something that proves you are serious. Clean your environment. Write the plan. Make the call. Start the workout. Delete the distraction. Set the boundary. Save the money. Finish the task. Apologize. Study. Create. Move. One action right now. Because the person you become is not built in your imagination. The person you become is built in your repeated choices. And from this point forward, every choice is evidence. Evidence for the old you, or evidence for the new you. Choose carefully.